50 episodes of this podcast, and all I got was this Project X Guard t-shirt.
That's it, buddy. It's officially, we've done 50 episodes of the Choking Hazard podcast. It's pretty cool. We're coming up on a year very shortly, but that is pretty significant when a lot of people thought we wouldn't even make it 3 episodes.
Or like me actually making it 3 minutes with Aaron. I mean, who would want to spend more than 3 minutes, talking to Aaron? But, I digress. Hey, we survived. We made it work. We're 50 episodes in. The more things change in the world, the more they stay the same. And I guess we are 50 podcast episodes in the can, and we still have some more to release in the future as well. But Aaron, I wanted to get your thoughts. This is kind of like a flashback or going over about the last year or so of this podcast. It's been about roughly a year, maybe a little bit less, I think, at this point. But Aaron, what are your favorite and least favorite memories of working with myself?
Well, I mean, if we want to be truthful, I mean, the most painful things that bother me when we are actually promoting episodes and such are the simple fact that you do not know how to share content that I tag you specifically into. As soon as I release an episode, and all I need you to do is just share it on your page, and I still have to send you text messages to share the fucking page.
Hey, Aaron, when you just release something and then 30 seconds later you text me, hey fucker, why don't you fucking share this?
It is not 30 seconds, okay? It'll be like, God damn it, like
3 minutes. Hey, you haven't shared this yet. What's going on? I'm still sitting in my basement. I have nothing to do.
4 hours. No, it'll be like 4 hours. And I'm like, bro, just share the thing.
I have no life. Mike, it's been 3 minutes. What are you doing? Why haven't you shared this yet?
Well, listen, when we first started this, we were in I guess you would call it lockdown pandemic stage where it was stay-at-home order, or that was like last May, I think it was, when we first started. We'll pull up the actual date for our actual 1-year anniversary, and we'll do a special presentation or a post for that. But we're literally coming back we just started another stay-at-home order, another lockdown. But in the essence of vaccines being distributed and all that kind of stuff, I don't know if you know this, Mike, I am actually in a hotspot, and I will be able to receive my vaccine.
I bet you are.
I'll be able to receive my vaccine probably a little bit before you will.
I don't know about that. So you're in a hotspot currently. So with all the talk about vaccines and everything, so how do you feel about getting it? Are you ready to get it? Are you going to transform into, like a starfish or something once you get it? Are you going to keel over and die? Is your penis going to fall off? What's going to happen? Are you going to lose more hair?
Listen, I'm going to be short about it because I know there's a lot of different opinions based on it. I mean, I would prefer, if I have to get a vaccine, the Pfizer or the Moderna, considered to the other one that there's still reports on and not sure what it does, or if it's causing blood clots and stuff. I mean, the reality is, yes, I'm a healthy male individual who works out and I take care of my body.
You work out and take care of your
body? To some extent.
Shocking.
But I think when we look at it, it's like, okay, there's trends going in the way that we're getting out of it, right? Things are not going in the right direction. People can say, oh, whatever, that the reports of the numbers are fake, or there's so much stuff out there. I don't even know what to believe anymore because people have literally lost their minds, right? And again, this is not me trying to stir the pot or anything like that, but everybody is just mad at everybody. And I think, obviously, the more you lock a city down, you're going to get people more pissed off more than anything. They're losing their livelihoods, they're losing their jobs, they're losing everything, right? Yeah. So absolutely, and again, I feel for these people, I really do. But and again, I'm not a scientist. I'm going to go with science that that say, hey, this is what we need to do in order to get out of this pandemic. And if it's a vaccine, okay, fine. I will take the vaccine to protect myself, to protect
Wait, Aaron, you're not going to listen to Karen in her basement on Facebook?
I am
She
not.
has the
No.
real answers, Aaron. The real answers to two of your problems.
So, like, that being said, I will take the vaccine. Which one it will be, I don't know. When my turn comes, I will take it, and I'll do it, right? Because I'm at that point where
it might turn you blonde. You never know.
Hey, maybe grow my hair back. I don't know, right?
So this is a positive side effect here.
This is a positive side effect. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, like, I'm done with this as much as everybody else is, right? But I mean, like, I see where everybody's like, well, just let's open up everything and no holds barred. It's not going to happen. Like, as much as people want to say that, I think that's what should happen, it won't happen. So the way out of it is the vaccines have to speed up and the cases have to go down. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just one person.
I don't know. You're not a guru. You're just a man.
I'm just a man. I'm just one person trying to make my difference in the world, and I just want to get out of this like everybody else. So,
yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think most people know I have a science background. I have a kinesiology background. I'm not saying I'm an expert, microbiologist by any sense of the imagination, but, with that said, the best long-term way of getting out of this is some sort of flu shot, vaccine, whatever you want to call it. That's going to it's not going to stop COVID altogether. So for people out there that think that's going to happen, it's not. COVID's going to be a thing for a very long time. There's probably going to be hundreds of different strains. I know I'm probably freaking out people right now, but there's going to be hundreds of different strains. How many strains of the common cold are there? How many different strains of influenza are there, Aaron? A lot. So it's going to keep mutating. It's going to keep changing. But with that said, that's probably going to be the main way of dealing with it. And it's going to be a difference between, maybe somebody who's at risk ending up in the hospital and somebody getting COVID and, sitting in their house for a couple days and they have the sniffles. So that's pretty much what it will do. And hopefully that will, drive down the amount of, hospitalizations and things like that. Cause at the end of the day, like, I think most people morally don't want to see other people, getting, sick and dying. But, with that said, I do feel for, over the last year, because, a lot of people's lives have been drastically changed. If you've had COVID or if you know somebody who's been, fatally affected by it, or just, people that have, lost their business due to it, or like they've lost their job over it, because I think this has evolved into more of a, not necessarily a health crisis. It definitely is. It's a health crisis, but then it's also an economic crisis. It's a mental health crisis. It's a lot of things rolled into one. And I think people need to step back and realize there's a lot more. Yes, I think it's all of those things. It's not just, okay, you go on Facebook and you go, okay, well, I don't believe in this side of it. This side is worse. No, this side they're all bad. I think this is the big thing I think everybody needs to realize. They're all bad. But the best way of getting out of it is being able to treat it, get it under control, and all those other things should fall in line and come back as well.
Yeah. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Everybody, just especially the people who listen to this podcast, who train jiu-jitsu, just want to get back to training jiu-jitsu. Mental health is a real thing, man. Like, I know a lot of people who are suffering hard over this thing, and every time we lock down more, it just drives them deeper into that hole where they don't know what to do, right? And I truly feel for a lot of people, and they've had to change the way they interact with people. But again, like, I look at like anything. We can't be at each other's throat on Facebook based on an opinion on
what
does
this accomplish in the long run, Aaron?
Exactly.
Regardless of who's right and who's wrong, like, what does it really accomplish besides that? Like, if we're arguing about like who has a worse hairline, me or you, it's clearly you. Who's gained more weight during a pandemic, me or you, it's clearly me. I'm 245 right now, Aaron. Sitting at
Are you
245.
seriously 245?
No, I'm like 250.
250. Jesus Christ.
Putting on the weight. I'm hitting it. I'm getting on the gas. I'm getting on everything.
Getting on the gas. Okay. So do you want to mention our cool sponsors or you're getting that gas from or where?
This is a good well, you're not going to find any gas here if you know what I'm saying. But Canadian Protein, we're back. We're going to use you're going to log on canadianprotein.com, Aaron, and guess what the promo code is?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
The choke? Is it choke? CH.
There you go. You got it.
Just choke.
CanadianProtein.com. You're going to use promo code choke. That's CHOKE in all capital letters, and you're going to get 10% off at checkout on all your supplement needs. I just got some protein recently, which for the people that are watching this on YouTube is right here in this lovely shaker. You're going to use promo code choke, CHOKE. You're going to get 10% off. Don't be a soy boy. CanadianProtein.com. Put them gains in your bicep veins, Aaron. Pick up some protein today. You only have water in that thing, unfortunately, that you're sipping out of. We do have other sponsors, Aaron, and I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. Can you guess what it is? For those people that are listening, for people that are listening to this audio-wise right now, in their cars, driving nowhere because there's nowhere to fucking go. But it's Project X-Guard. So we're working with Raul Chavez at Project X-Guard. You're going to find him on Instagram at that, or you can reach out to us. He's working with at-risk youth in the Greater Toronto area. So if you know somebody that could be positively influenced by Jiu-Jitsu and what it can do for, we just talked earlier about your physical and mental health, and spiritual health and all that. So reach out to us at the Choking Hazard podcast page or Raul Chavez at Project X-Guard. And last but certainly not least, regardless of, hey, it's Groundhog Day. How many lockdowns have there been? 1, 2, 3, 20? I don't know. I've lost count. But it's always 420 at Aaron at Spirit Leaf Waterdown. They have all your CBD, THC needs. It's Groundhog Day once again. They are available for curbside pickup. They have all the edibles, all the gummies, all the candies, more chocolate than Germany and Switzerland put together. King Kong, Godzilla are fighting over their edibles as we speak right now, live in theaters. And Aaron, they are located at, what is their address for people? For the people.
They are located at 64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
Beautiful. Alex and his team has the connects that you need. I would never thought I would see to live the day where marijuana, edibles, or I can't say we'll say the devil's lettuce is legal, but jiu-jitsu is not in Ontario. But you can go to Spirit Leaf Waterdown. You don't even have to go underground. They got everything that you need. Located at, Aaron, one more time.
That is at 64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
They're available for curbside pickup. You're going to use the promo code CHPodcast10. Now, quick note, do not pay online. You're going to pay at the door, and you're going to mention the Choking Hazard podcast as well. You're going to give them the code CHPodcast10. You're going to get 10% off at checkout when you pick up your order curbside. So hopefully at the end of 28 days, you'll be able to go back in person. But for now, they are available for curbside pickup.
Perfect. And I'm going to do one last plug-in before we get actually into some jiu-jitsu content. So as we were saying, we are on our 50th episode, which is awesome. And we want to thank especially all of you guys who listen to our podcast all the time. We are actually being listened to in 35 different countries right now, which is quite amazing.
35
different countries. So like we're all over the world right now, which is
beautiful.
Amazing, which shows you how far like jiu-jitsu travels basically more than anything. But the biggest thing is like we talk about Canadian content, Canadian athletes, Canadian coaches, and we've been trying to push that message more than anything. And we decided, hey, we're going to come out with a special edition. Basically, we came out with this awesome new product, and it is, if you're on online and you're on YouTube, we have our limited edition Choking Hazard hat with our Canadian grappling badge on there. We are only doing a limited quantities of these hats. We're selling them once they are gone. They are gone. We're not doing another run of that hat, but we will be running more stuff down the road. So we're planning on doing products every single month, something different. So keep you guys entertained, keep you guys guessing, and we're always going to push something cool and exciting out for you.
Definitely. It's very exciting, Aaron. We have our first product. So like to shout out our design team. So I like to shout out my wife, Kat, for a beautiful setup on that logo and on the hat as well. But as Aaron said, we were going to be having new products every month. And it's not a gimmick just to try to sell as many hats as possible. We really do have a limited amount. And once they're gone, we're not making them again. We're going to move on to something else. So if you want it, feel free to DM us at the Choking Hazard podcast page. We'll get you set up. And Aaron will also have a website that he is going to link in this podcast as well. Yeah. I believe. Is that correct, Aaron?
They will be available on Monday. Today is Monday. We're dropping this podcast today. So basically, when they pop up online, we hope to sell them very quickly. Grab them while they're hot. If you miss it, you have no problem. You miss it, you can always catch up on the next one. All right. So my last plugin. We're not going to talk about any more plugins. Let's actually talk about some jiu-jitsu. Sound good?
We actually do jiu-jitsu on this podcast, Aaron?
Yeah, we do.
It's been so long.
It has. It has. And you know what? Like, that's the thing, right? Like, I think with the lockdowns and there's been, there's people being critical of like, hey, if you shouldn't be training, you are training. I still stand by the whole thing. If you're safe and you're responsible and you pick your training partners wisely, I don't see why you can't do what you want to do out there. Right. It's all about just being responsible. And again, like if you're going to train, but just do it in a positive, safe way.
So what you're saying is don't throw an orgy with 300 people in it.
That would be not wise until everybody was vaccinated. That's my opinion, though.
You might catch something worse than that, but yeah, I would agree with that message as well, Aaron. Like, I think everybody wants to train right now. If you can do it in a safe, responsible manner, go for it. But yeah, obviously, like coming back to our original message, last thing I want to see is like, people getting sick or being adversely affected by this. So, just like drinking alcohol, please drink responsibly.
Exactly. But I think one thing too, you have to think about it. Jiu-jitsu is coming back, which is awesome. We got tournaments happening in the US and they're slowly picking up. IBJJF is starting to go. You got all the, oh my God.
We're gonna edit this. We're clearly not editing this. We're gonna leave this in. But yes, as Aaron was choking on water over there. But so what Aaron was trying to say is there's a lot of tournaments ramping up, especially in the US. There's a lot more FloGrappling cards. There's a lot more, who's number ones. There's actually one coming up very soon that we can talk about as well, that we have some confirmed super fights on there. So Aaron, I want to get your thoughts and your take. We can start with the main event. We got Craig Jones versus Tye Ruotolo. What are your thoughts on that? How do you see that going? What's your expert analysis on that?
I kind of want to know what Craig's up to, because it's like I think when I look at this, it's like, because Tye's he's a brown belt, right? Not taking anything away from him or anything like that. Like, he is a brown belt under Andre
officially, but like if you're looking at skill wise, he's world class black belt.
World class black belt, right? Like, but I think when I look at this, it's like, I think it's great that Craig actually has a main event he's excited for, that Gordon's not going to step in there and take it from him, which is great. I look at both the skill sets of these individuals. I just don't see Tye really causing a threat for Craig. I think Craig is just going to pull up his leg entanglements. Like, obviously, Tye's going to try to, establish his passing game and trying to establish position and keep it hyperactive. But I just think Craig's going to tie him up and then eventually just either submit him with a heel hook or he'll do something else. I think he's going to have his way with him. I'll be completely honest with you.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think Tye he's been training jiu-jitsu since he was like 4, first of all. So he has the experience, and I think he also has a very unique passing style. So if you watched Nicky Ryan versus Tye Ruotolo, it was that he actually shut down a lot of Nicky Ryan's leg entanglements. So he does a lot of like, he'll step on your leg, he'll leg drag, he'll move around. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think, where Craig's just going to be able to, get in on the legs in like a minute and then heel hook him. I think it's going to take some time.
Oh, I think it's going to take some time.
I think Craig is definitely probably the favorite going into this, but I think Tye's honestly going to respond. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with this. So I don't think it's going to be as easy for Craig as people are kind of making it out to be.
Now, but here's my question for you, right? When you looked at like Craig versus Ronaldo, right? And everybody was saying, okay, Ronaldo's like, where would you rate Ronaldo's passing game compared to Tye's passing game?
It's different. It's apples and oranges. Like Ronaldo's is very aggressive. He's very athletic. Tye's very athletic as well, but he has a lot more. He has a very unique passing system. That's why I'm actually interested in this match, because Tye's not. It's not very easy to get in on Tye's legs. So the way he passes, it's very difficult, because if somebody is standing on your leg, Aaron, and you try to spin and invert, you can't spin and invert without tearing your knee in half. So there probably will be some very unique adjustments to it. I think it'll be a really interesting match. So
I think it'll be interesting. I don't know. I just don't feel, again, maybe this is me. I just don't know enough about Tye to be like, this is going to be a good match for him. I'm not saying can't be competitive. I just look at Craig can't lose this fight. Like, I look at like every match Craig goes into now, it's almost like he can't lose, because he's at that point in his career where he needs to take that next step. And if he's going to have like these matches where he's putting himself out there, he can't afford to lose mediocre matches, especially when ADC is going to come back eventually.
Oh yeah,
he needs
absolutely.
to establish, right? Like that's the thing. Like, and I don't see him taking this match not seriously and just like playing around. Like I don't think that's his mentality. I think as much as he plays,
I think on Instagram, yeah, like his Instagram is hilarious for anybody who's not following Craig Jones. You should. He may be the funniest person in jiu-jitsu right now, by bar none. He's absolutely hilarious. But with that said, like with that humor, he does take competing in these matches very seriously. So he's definitely going to be dialed in. I think it'll be a really interesting match. I think Craig takes it. I think it's going to take a significant amount of work, though. He might not even catch Tye, but I think it's going to be a really interesting match. I believe Nicky Ryan's fighting PJ Barch. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Nicky Ryan coming back off the knee injury should be interesting, especially with that. I mean, as long as he's been able to heal and train and get what he's been wanting to do, I think he'll be able to make a comeback, because I think, again, there's another individual who wants to take that kind of next step. And especially after he lost to Tye, like he's got to come back, right? This is a good coming back party for him. So I'm curious to see how he responds, especially after the knee injury.
Yeah, I think this should be a good comeback match for him. I think he'll take it as well. I think he'll probably either get some sort of heel hook from a leg entanglement, or he'll probably get the back and finish with a choke there. He has a very strong back attack game and also a very strong leg lock game, similar to his brother Gordon Ryan. So I think he takes that one.
We also have, is Ethan on that card as well?
Yes, he is, and
so Ethan versus Cade.
That's a rematch from a previous encounter where I think I remember watching that, and I was discussing it with Ricardo, where I was very puzzled with the decision that Cade got, because I thought, Ethan was significantly more aggressive in looking for, submission attempts and everything. He was attacking a lot more. He had more dominant positions, but wasn't enough for the three judges that were, judging the match. So I think this is actually going to be probably fight of the night. It's going to be really interesting. I think Cade and Ethan are very evenly matched. So this is definitely one that can go either way, and whoever is dialed in and on for that evening is gonna take the match. Like Ethan, very similar. Like all the Danaher Death Squad guys have, very strong back attacks, very strong leg attacks. But I think there's a lot more people that are studying that now, where it's not 2017 and you're surprising everybody with all these leg lock setups that people aren't seeing. Now it's been almost 4 or 5 years. People are studying this stuff a lot more, and I think you'll see a lot more people. The playing field will be leveled a lot more. But this will be a really good match. I think this is probably potentially fight of the night right here. Aaron, your thoughts? I think this is going to be a tough one to call. This definitely can go either way.
Yeah, I think like you said, like it can go either way. I mean, I'm looking at this match and I still think it's going to be Ethan, as much as I kind of go back and forth on this one. And I look at it this way, because the Danaher Death guys are in Puerto Rico. As they've been training, they train 7 days a week. They don't stop. They're just dialed in on training, having Danaher there. He's got nothing else going on other than training, teaching. That's it. They're not focused on anything else other than that. And again, I don't know what they're doing in San Diego, but I just look at that atmosphere, and you're going to have all these guys, and they're all training together. Ethan, Craig, Gordon, all of them, Nikki as well. Like, and you got Nikki Rod there. You got all these other beasts there. I just feel that it's going to be a Danaher Death Squad night. I think they've been working hard enough where they're going to be able to come out on top on all those matches.
I think definitely the move to Puerto Rico has probably helped all of them, just because, New York City, lockdown, restrictions, it was difficult for them to get the training in that they wanted. Now they moved to Puerto Rico. It's literally eat, sleep, train 24/7, 365.
And that's the thing. They're living in a life where it's hot all the time. They get to train outside. They're doing all the things that they want to do out there, right? And it's like they get that same mentality in the San Diego life, right? Where you're getting that weather. I think the weather's a big thing, man. You get that weather, you're always just nice.
Yeah, that's why all the Danaher guys are so good now. It's the weather. Now that they're near the equator, they're just like jiu-jitsu, like leg locks +5, back takes +10.
But you're not dealing with that New York cold, right? I don't know, like
the commute and all that. Yeah,
the commute and all that stuff.
Like before, like Gordon and those guys would be going from New Jersey to New York City every day.
And you think about all the teaching they would be doing. They'd be teaching classes and all that. They're not doing that stuff now. They're training. That's it. Yeah, the mentality in the game has shifted, right? So it's going to be interesting. I think especially one of the fights on the card that's going to be really great is Mr. Gilbert Burns is making his way back.
Ah, yes. That would be
who's he facing, Mike? Come on, buddy.
Rafael Lovato Jr.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be a very good. Those are two, world-class world champs, former world champs. This is going to be, and they've both done a lot of MMA recently as well. Gilbert's coming off of a loss to Kamaru Usman in MMA, but in the UFC, but he has a world-class jiu-jitsu game. So don't sleep on Gilbert Burns. And Lovato's been around a long time too. He's had fights in Bellator and other.
He was the Bellator middleweight champ, right? He had to relinquish the belt. He never lost the belt, right? But now he can't take any headshots right now. But again, amazing grappler. I'm like trying to. What was his last match he had? But it was a gi match. It wasn't no gi.
It was at a fight to win. We'll have to look that up. But
I'll have to look that up.
We'll have to look that up. Google that shit, Aaron.
I'll Google it right now. But yeah, I'm not sure. But like you look at him.
Ooh, that's good. That match is going to be crazy.
Who do you think?
That's another one that's going to be really tough to call. Like Gilbert Burns, very aggressive jiu-jitsu style, very good wrestling. Rafael Lovato Jr., very, very well-rounded, very good passing game, good takedown game, good guard game. This one's really tough to call, honestly. I might give a slight edge to Lovato, maybe, when it comes to maybe if he gets on top. Like I would say, like his passing is very strong. That's another match. It's hard to say. Like that's another toss up to me where I don't think anybody has a significant edge on the other person. It's just who shows up mentally ready to go.
Yeah, I can't find it. I'll find it. But yeah, I think he lost. Oh, you know who it was? Hulk. He was fighting Hulk, I believe it was.
Oh yes, he was.
Yes.
Hulk's a different animal as well, and Lovato's,
and it was Guy.
Yeah. Yes, I recall it. Like no shame in losing to Hulk. He's just a world class. He's like top of the food chain, especially in the gi right now as well. Here's your favorite also, Andrew Wilsh from Daisy Fresh is fighting David Garmo.
Yes,
that'll be another interesting one as well. David Garmo's been around for a while. He's actually competed a lot in Ontario and in Canada as well, straight out of Detroit. So shout out to him. Love to get him on a podcast sometime.
I got wrecked by him back in my first purple belt match in Detroit because it was Marco, Jason Faraz, and maybe it was Max. It might have been Max, Missouri. We all went down to Detroit, and I drove, and then it was my first purple belt match, and I ended up with David Garmo in this like first part of the bracket, and he just fucking like dummy ragged me the whole time.
So how did that match go? What do you recall?
Oh man, this is like going back like 8 years ago, I think. Oh no, longer than that. What am I talking about? Probably almost 10 years ago. But I remember like we started standing as like everything. And then
you started on your knees in a tournament, Aaron?
No. We started standing. I know he took me down. I got back up. I think I tripped him up. We ended up in. I think I might have got 2 points for. Like I said, it was 10 years ago. I might have got 2 points on him, and then after that, he passed my guard and just destroyed me, and that was it. Like he was so much bigger than me. That's
okay, so I've never trained with him, so I can't speak from experience rolling with him. But he has a very exciting jiu-jitsu style, very good wrestler as well, very strong. Head attack game where like he'll go on a guillotine from a lot of different angles and different positions. If he gets a hold of your neck, especially in a front headlock, you're in trouble. Very strong guillotine game. What are your thoughts on this match?
You know what? Because I'm curious to see, especially on the type of training pace that Andrew has been like putting on, especially on his last Who's Number One card. He had a really good match. I'm curious to see, but I like, you know what, to pay my respects to Mr. David Garmo, I would say I'll pick David Garmo for this match. Because I'd be curious. I'd be curious to see how it is because again, like he's competed a lot in Ontario. We've seen a lot more of David Garmo, and I've seen a lot more of David compared to Andrew. So
I've seen a lot more of David compared to Andrew as well. Definitely don't sleep on him. I think if he gets him into his game, which is a lot of front headlock, guillotine, snap the head down. If he gets into that, he's going to put Andrew in a lot of danger very quickly. He has a very dangerous guillotine. I've seen him submit very good world-class people very quickly with that. So I think that's a match. Definitely do not blink. Last but not least, there is a female match on the card as well. Jessa Khan and Grace Gundrum of 10th Planet. I think this match is also probably potentially fight of the night as well. Both really young, up and coming, both I think just recent black belts as well. I don't know if you know much about them, but Jessa Khan is a black belt under the Mendez brothers, and Grace is a black belt in the 10th Planet system from Eddie Bravo. So this is an example of two people or two females that have come up in the jiu-jitsu world where like they've been training since they were kids coming up, and like, well, Jessica Khan even as well, like she's been training since she was, kind of like the Ruotolo brothers as well. Like you're starting to really see the generation of, okay, there's these kids that have been training since they were 4 or 5, kind of like the Ruotolo brothers and Jessa and people like that. And then once they're like 16, 17, they may have blue belts on, but they're already like a skill wise, like better than some world-class black belts. So this is going to be a perfect example of that. This is a match that can go either way. I believe it's no-gi, so I would say maybe Grace has a little bit more of an advantage because I think she just trains exclusively no-gi. Jessica's very dangerous, I would say, in both. I think this comes down to who can implement their game, where Jessa is a lot more kind of berimbolo back take, similar to like Mendez Brothers style jiu-jitsu. So if she can implement that very quickly, I think she'll have an advantage. If Grace can get her into the 10th planet system and start breaking her down, she'll probably have an advantage when it comes to like leg entanglements and things like that. But this is another match. I think it's going to be like nonstop action back and forth, which you'll usually see in like lighter weight classes, especially with females.
Yeah, you know what? The whole card looks awesome, so it's going to be interesting to see. I'll definitely be watching it for sure. So we got a couple weeks to still break people down from there. I think too is like, I almost kind of like think about like the two of us is like we're almost dinosaurs in this game now, where it's like you have all these young people that have like been training for so long, and then they're becoming black belts, and they've been training for almost as long as they started as kids, right? And they start working their way up, and compared to like a lot of us who started training in our whether early or late teens, and
you're even seeing this in like the Ontario scene as well. So you're seeing
exactly
perfect example, like Matthew Isaacs had him on way before he was been a regular training partner of me since he was a teenager, 12, 13, balls probably haven't even dropped yet. And I've been training, and like now he's fully grown purple belt, competing at a world-class level consistently. Just flew to the U.S. as well, and is going to be doing some a tournament stint down there in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's another example of just people have been training jiu-jitsu since they were kids, and now that they're becoming adults, now you're starting to see them getting onto the world stage a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, like, let me ask you this: like, I people always say, "Oh, if I was younger, I would have totally done this." Like, do you think you would have changed the way you trained, or like you wish you started earlier? Do you have any of those kind of like reminiscences or thoughts at all?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I'm glad I started training jiu-jitsu when I did anyway. So would I change maybe like my style of training, like going back to like previous podcasts and like breaking it down with other people? Definitely, I would have probably have tweaked my training a little bit differently, where it's not just about like, like David Mosley is a perfect example that comes to mind, where he's like, you're not trying to win every training session, you're trying to learn.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can work on different positions, and, hey, if things go your way, great. And if things don't, then you figure out why they didn't. I kind of figured, I figured that part out early, where like going into like my later white belt career, I'm like, okay, like I don't have to win every roll or every round or every training session, but I need to take something away from every training session. And I think it's the best thing I probably learned at that time. But I think breaking things down and systemizing things more and more, especially now, if I can go back, I would try to interconnect things as much as you can versus just learning moves as you're like going up the ranks and not knowing how to connect certain positions.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change anything. I think if anything, I probably would have like, especially when I took my break for my while in training, and like I probably wouldn't have, I would like to shorten that a little bit more.
Your first retirement?
My retirement, yes.
Your retirement.
I think when I retirement, like hit brown belt and retired.
Kids working. Your 17-year brown belt run.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? Like I wouldn't change it for anything, because I mean, like I learned that way, right? It's like anybody. You take what you did, and everybody's path is completely different. And I learned so much. I've learned so many different things throughout that time too, right? So maybe I wouldn't have been able to do jujitsu plus learn all the skills that I had learned at that time either, right? So in a in a sense, it was a benefit for me in a professional level. And you know what? And coming back to full circle, I think it's helped me move along, especially with my coaching, especially in the way I teach differently. Like, I think it's worked differently.
Things fall in place for the right reasons, right?
Oh,
So,
exactly. I don't regret anything. Do I wish I was like, younger knees and younger back and still more athletic? Absolutely. But those are just
I
the
don't know if we're going to be.
tangibles.
I don't know if I'm going to be like jumping flying triangles because I feel like I might like snap you in half right now if I did that.
You know what? Like, I remember it was a while ago. We were training, and then I was going back and forth with somebody, right? And it was like nobody else was training, and it was just me and this other purple belt at the club, and we're just going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Like I'd catch him, he'd catch me, I'd catch him, he'd catch me, whatever. And we just go, 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 and it turned into a stand up takedown, and then I threw out this flying triangle near the end of it. And I'm like, where on earth did that come from? I am not 22 anymore.
I broke my back. Man, son. I broke my back. Totally what happened? Spinal totally broken. My back is broken.
And it's like, and then like even like more recently, like I was training, and then I tried to do like like when somebody is like they sit down in there, or you stand up on them, and they sit up in their guard, and then you go to shoot for like a flying triangle, or
like jump over and you try to try.
Yeah, right. Like I basically try to do that, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like I'm gonna try and kill somebody. I'm gonna break my own back. Like,
you're gonna break them
anymore.
Oh, you're not 20 anymore. That should be a new shirt. You're not 20 anymore.
Yeah, that's the new shirt. That's the next product.
coming soon. That might be a monthly drop.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think there's one super fight that we have not talked about that is being hyped heavily online. It is the intergender championship of the world.
Oh.
Craig Jones versus Gabby Garcia. The press conference was hilarious. Aaron, give me your thoughts.
I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. Because I don't know if it's a joke or it's not. And he's assured us that it's not a joke. They're really going to do it. Right? So
I think I think it started off as a joke.
And then it spiraled.
It just spiraled into Gabby's like, yeah, I'll fight you. And then Craig's like, okay, I'll fight you. And then they were going to do it at a gym. And then I think what happened is there's probably people that are like, hey, like, we'll stream this. We'll put it on pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is.
Sponsors, all that. So, like, a lot of money came in. They're both like, okay, well, we were just going to, like, Facebook Live this and give it away. But if you guys are going to do this, then we'll hype. It's just like, any sort of, WWE, UFC, FloGrappling, they all have the same model where, like, you want to hype fights, you want to go hype personalities and go, oh, I want to see this fight in that one, this match.
Yeah, like,
so why not?
Like, and again, I think it'd be interesting to see, but like, I think it's like anything. You want to see if it's going to be a match, I want it to be a match. Right. I want the two of them to actually be engaged. Like if it's a joke, it's a joke, and that's fine. And that's totally cool. But if it's going to be a match, let them actually have a match. And
I think they're actually going to have a match. I don't know the exact date yet, but I think they're both down to do a match. I think Craig hyping it on Instagram has been absolutely insanity.
He had this awesome Instagram where it was like he walked into a bar and he goes in there, and then because like Gabby, I guess, does like pole dancing lessons or whatever, and so she has that on her Instagram, and he used those clips and he clips them in, and then he's like him drinking at a bar, and he's like, what? He's looking at, like, it's actually really funny. Like the guy is a genius, or his marketing team or whoever does his Instagram.
There's definitely a team of people. There's definitely a team of people. It's absolutely hilarious. I said it before. Go follow Craig Jones on Instagram. He may be the funniest person in jiu-jitsu right now, bar none.
Like he came up with this really funny. And again, like if they're gonna have a match, I want them to have a good competitive match. I have no idea like where that goes.
I don't know where it goes. How does that match go potentially?
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. like, like I want them both to be competitive.
I just think it's definitely going to be competitive.
I think it'll be competitive. I think Gabby again, like Gabby knows her stuff. She's no slouch. Like she's not going to take.
She's one of the greatest female competitors.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like and I don't want to be like I'm hyping up Craig Jones here or anything like that. I mean, like if he just wants to entangle the legs, I can see him just doing it, right? But I can also see Gabby like smushing him and just
putting a lot of pressure on,
and putting a lot of pressure on him. So like I can see two scenarios out of that. So I'm not going to call who wins that one. I think if they're going to do it, I want it to be nice and competitive and a friendly, good grappling match after, and then again what it should
definitely
be.
I think it's fun. I think this is all in fun. I think they're definitely doing a very good job of hyping this. I think it's going to be a very interesting match if and when it does happen. I think it will. I think there's the stakes have been lifted and there's a lot more hype around this now, but that is definitely a match you're going to be watching. I think basically what you said it's going to go one of two ways. I think Gabby ends up completely squishing him on top and then trying to probably work a finish maybe somewhere in side mount, or Craig gets under her base, gets the legs and starts attacking with a heel hook, or uses that to get the back and then potentially finishes from there. But that's definitely going to be a match to look at in the distant future, where Craig Jones has officially become the Andy Kaufman of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
that's a reference for everybody out there. But man, that is absolutely hilarious that he's basically transformed into Andy Kaufman. But so there's also an Abu Dhabi Pro that happened as well, and that was in Abu Dhabi. And shout out to Nathan Dos Santos, who took silver in that.
Yeah, we had a couple other Canadians in there as well, isn't there?
Yes, there's a few that made the trip out there. I think Kieran made a trip out there. That's somebody I want to get on a podcast in the not so distant future as well. I'm going to reach out to him. But there's Nathan competed against Jamie Canuto. Jamie Canuto is also a world-class black belt as well. As good as they come, and like this is what you have to look forward to when you compete at Masters.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
No wonder. It's gonna be, because this is the thing with Masters Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody's like, oh, the guys are older and all that. It's like, listen.
Yeah, but it's all the guys that were like smashing now, and they've just gotten older.
So
like it's not fair.
Javier Lovato Jr. is I think he did Masters. He did Masters 1, and I think he's going into Masters 2. But to give you a reference, Aaron at Masters 2 would be competing against guys like Lovato.
Yeah.
Guys like that.
I even think no. Well, I'm not that light. But
Igor Gracie.
Like I remember Kyle Pinder. We were talking because he went to Masters World or whatever, and if he had won his match, next up would have been Lucas Leprit, right? And he would have had to fight him, right? Because he was cutting weight that time, so he was like, "I'm glad I lost, because then my next match would have sucked." He's like.
He would have but he would have had the experience of competing against Lucas Leprit.
Oh, and that's the thing, right? Like it's like you have this amazing experience to be competing with certain individuals that you probably never would have competed with against ever, especially in a Toronto tournament or like Ontario Open. Not saying anything bad about those tournaments, but again, you're going to get that world-class experience level at that competition. So
absolutely,
100%. Is it an experience? Yes. Is it something you want to do? 100%. I think you should. If you can do it, go for it. I just don't want to do it right now.
You don't want to get beat up by Lovato at like medium heavy.
Yeah, because that would be my weight now, I guess, like medium heavy. Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, I'm good. But there's Abu Dhabi's definitely an experience. That's definitely a place where I want to go out and compete one day. That would be a very interesting, unique experience. And I was talking to some of the people that went out there and training 24/7. There's rooms where in the hotel where everybody's staying, where you can go downstairs, you can train with whoever's there at the time. So people get together and train at certain days and times. Like, for example, when the Meow brothers were competing regularly in Abu Dhabi, they would just stay in the training room. They would just roll with whoever came in. They didn't matter who it was. Like, you could have walked in and you could have rolled with Paulo Meow, for example. They didn't care.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique experience there where you get to train with everybody. The training room is always open. It's always full. It's 24/7. They're also, I think they're regularly testing everybody. So if you're going to the venue, you're getting a COVID test on the spot. It's kind of like Fight Island, where it's very safe.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their own bubble, and you're regularly being looked after and cared for, all safety COVID protocols are all being followed. COVID does not exist on that island just because it's so heavily guarded and so maintained, where it's very difficult for something to slip through the cracks. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to close bars at 11:01 p.m. because that's when COVID apparently comes out. But in Ontario,
Well, yeah, I think businesses have to close by 9:00. But you know what? You never know. Maybe 1 year from now, I think the Choking Hazard podcast might be doing a live stream from maybe Abu Dhabi or somewhere else. You never know. Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. One day, hopefully, the prediction that a former podcast alumni made on here, June 8th, 2021.
Oh, yes. Yes, we have to look at June 7th. June 7th.
Okay.
June 7th. I'm going to call JJ and say, hey, if this doesn't come true, we're going to have some words. But
I'm going to message him on June 8th. If COVID's still here, I'm going to be fucking pissed, and I'm going to blame him.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking guy.
Fucking dick.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited because especially for the next 50 episodes and next 50 after that, we're going to have a lot more content, a lot more guests. We've been hitting up to a lot of interesting characters, especially in the Jiu-Jitsu world and also kind of throughout Canada that we're going to have on the podcast. So we have a lot of great things coming down the pipeline, and who would have thought that a simple idea like this is just getting started. And we're glad that especially our audience is with us and you guys are on the road, because we can't do this without the audience. So we do appreciate everything that you guys do for us.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support. I know I like to break Aaron's balls, but he works tirelessly behind the scenes. And, I like to do my part, when I feel like it. And I like to thank my podcast partner in crime, Aaron Garl. You've been stuck with me for a year. You've been working very hard, and I think there's going to be a lot more bigger things around the corner, not just for you, but for me as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you know what, man? Like, it's been cool because like you and I have actually been able to chat still. Obviously, again, and the one thing that I hate about COVID is just separated so many people from conversation of like that face to face and not being able to have real conversation with people. And I think this is like starting projects like this really kind of help individuals. Again, it's more connecting, maybe just get their story out there, being able to talk about certain things or things that they're on their mind or whatever. But it's been interesting to see all the guests that we've had have those conversations, but then it's like kept me in check more than anything to like keep those conversations going more than anything.
Yes, I think it's the biggest thing during this time, especially mentally. I think a lot of people are craving social interaction, and we do a podcast over Zoom. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Is the way we have to do it for the time being. But hopefully, in the future, we get to do this in person, and that will be a glorious day when that day and time comes. Which I'm thinking it's going to be sooner rather than later. I think it's been over a year. Things are getting out of control again, but we gotta settle down, hunker down a bit, take a step back, realize, okay, like the situation's not the best, but at the end of the day, how do you make the best of it?
That's it, buddy. I think that's the biggest thing. We want everybody to stay safe out there. We are this close, hopefully soon, especially in Canada. But we know all you guys in Florida and Texas are just doing your thing, and Puerto Rico. You keep doing your thing. I think keep training, keep rolling.
You stay classy.
You guys stay classy. We will eventually be down there. And listen, everybody, keep training. Be safe. We're going to come at you guys soon. And big things are coming.
Aaron's coming at you, bro. Coming at you,
bro.
Hard.
Coming at you.
Bro.